Greetings and welcome to Gypie Gaming, more specifically the Gypie podcast, where today we're talking about our top 3 games. Each of us have 3 games that we're going to talk about. I'm joined by Jake.
Hello.
And Dan.
Hello.
And just in the background we're going to have Elemental, which we've already done a video on and we liked it so much we just want to play it a little bit more. I'm going to start the ball rolling here with my top 3. My first one is one that I don't think either of you have played, called The Last of Us.
We haven't.
No.
And it's, well, everyone loves that game basically. It got massive reviews and it's got such a powerful story and such solid gameplay that it just couldn't not be in the top 3, to be honest. And I think it was one of the few games that I lost so much track of time that I ended up looking at the clock and it was about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and I
it's
felt
always a good game then.
I felt like I was near the end of it, so I didn't want to give it up. So then it got to about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I still hadn't finished, and I couldn't put it down. And it's one of the games that I was almost screaming at the TV in certain bits of the story, because without spoiling anything, one of the characters gets hurt and is on the floor, and I was kind of yelling. I was so invested in.
Really?
Yeah, I was so invested in this storyline.
Which, do you want to quickly briefly do the storyline?
The storyline is basically it's, I don't want to say zombies, but it's a plant, I think a fungus. Is it cordyceps or something like that? I think it's a real life thing where a parasite takes over the brain of a creature.
Okay, yeah.
If you remember that, it kind of starts growing plants out of the brain of it and makes it do stupid things like climb to the top of a tree to get eaten by a bird. It's that, and it's started affecting humans, and the game opens with about half an hour of you playing as a little girl.
Yeah.
The daughter of the main character, Joel. And it doesn't end well in the first 30 minutes, and then it cuts to about 20 years later with Joel not having a good time of it, basically. He works as a kind of a courier, delivering things for people just in one of the safe zones, and this girl Ellie gets put in his care that he has to deliver to a certain place to get her to the rebels, and he finds out that she's immune. She is immune to this infection, and then it's just basically him and her almost on a road trip across just destroyed America.
Right.
And sorry, I got invested in the game then. And it took me about 20 or 30 hours to complete, and I think I've kept on trying to lend you the PS3 just to be able to.
It's been mentioned a few times.
Yeah, that's how much it means to me that I want everyone to play this game. I think most people already have, but it's got one of the endings that I'll remember for pretty much ever, I think. And that's my first.
But not the last.
It's not my last. My second game,
We're not talking anymore about the first? Our opinions on it? Or?
Well, neither of us have played it, mate, so...
Well, no, I just meant as in, obviously there was a lot of hype when it first came out, and there were a lot
huge amount of hype.
10 out of 10s and things, but obviously we haven't actually played it. But
I think it was from, was it Naughty Dog, who also did the Uncharted series, which has also gotten a lot of critical acclaim.
that's another PS3 exclusive, isn't
another
it?
exclusive
I actually have played that, and it's very good.
I haven't played those ones.
Really good.
And
Wasn't that? I think that was one of the flagship games for the PS3.
Yes, yeah. And so it's from Naughty Dog, and it's weird thinking that they started off doing Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they've moved on to bigger and much more emotional things.
I don't know, Crash Bandicoot is pretty emotional for me.
You got pretty stressful at times, especially being like a 9-year-old trying to complete those Wrath of Cortex levels.
Okay, second game.
Second game. 2 seconds. I'm just My second game, much to the annoyance of Jakey boy here, is Final Fantasy VIII.
Yep.
And I think this was on his list as well.
It's
so
actually my number 1.
It's your number 1, is it?
Indeed.
I'm very sorry. You may have to change that if you want to.
Nope.
No, he's not changing that.
So we have to talk about it twice. Great.
we could pass this over with you if you
want to pass the controller because you're playing that. Jake, I think you. When did you get into Final Fantasy? Because I got into it pretty much when it came out. I think 98 or 99.
Yeah, I probably started a little late. Probably about 2002-ish, maybe.
Okay, that was after Final Fantasy 10, was it? Did you play that one first, or
No, I played 8 first.
you played it first?
A hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I wasted the better part of my my childhood playing that game.
Same. Yeah. It's one of the games. Everyone has those books that they read, like once a year. Final Fantasy 8. I actually bought it again about 2 months ago on the PlayStation Store, just to be able to play it again. And
sorry, that whisper was me giving Dan advice to play the
I
game.
haven't played this for a while.
I remember renting it when it came out, and it's the only game that you can't really rent things anymore, but I rented it, and before the rental was finished, I'd gone out and bought it.
Really?
Yeah, so I rented it for I think 3 days, and on the second day, I went out and bought it.
It's that good of a game. It's so big. I remember the first, as you leave the school, in that first little bit, the first quest is not to knock over the microphone.
Wow.
And the second quest is a simple just head east to find the cave to find your first guardian.
That took me ages because I was 9.
I didn't listen to that.
No, I didn't.
I spent about 3 days roaming around the forest.
I think that's what I hadn't even done that bit yet, and I still bought the game.
It's really...
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to go, once I bought the game, I went back through it and talked to every person in that school until I found the one person you meant to talk to, the obvious person you meant to talk to, who went, yeah, just head to the right when you leave the school.
Yeah. And it's got the best minigame of all time.
Triple Triad.
Triple Triad.
Which is a real game as well.
You can buy the real set of cards made by Kunai or whatever the company is called.
Yeah.
But they are incredibly expensive now.
Yeah, it's about £500 for the whole set.
For the whole set, yeah. It's just a complete game. Everything you want is in it.
4 discs as well. So
Yeah, you don't get that much anymore.
I think the only thing actually, I can't remember the last game I played. GTA had 2 discs. No, one was to load it onto. One was to install the game.
Yeah. A lot of games like that now.
Yeah, and but it might sound a bit stupid, but I had played this game for about 7 years before I finally completed it. Not because I couldn't complete it, but because I couldn't complete it when I was 9, and then I
Which
played
is
it,
understandable.
and then I played it every year after that, and I kept on stopping when I got to the final boss, just because I thought if I completed it, I would never go back and play it again.
I'm not entirely sure that I have completed the final boss.
I don't think you ever have. You never told me about it anyway.
I remember I spent a lot of time just on the first disc.
Yeah.
It would say put disc 2 in, and I'd be like, oh, but disc 1 was so much fun.
Yeah.
I remember getting maybe to the 3rd disc. I don't think I just roamed around.
Yeah.
There's that point to when you level up enough and you're doing ridiculous amounts of damage, where you're killing a T-Rex with one shot.
Quadruple 9s.
Yeah.
I was surprised by it because I went into it a couple of years ago again, and looking for a bit more depth into the game, I googled a little bit more tips on it and things like that, and there was a guide which I found which listed like the perfect game to it, and I looked at it, and there was dozens of things in there that I had never known about.
Really?
Yeah, there was so many things. There's an alien called Poo Poo
Yeah.
that flies around, and you can occasionally find him on the map.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't.
And if you knock him down, you get his card. I think you win his card from someone.
For the first maybe 3 years of playing, I didn't know that you could give your GFs skills and things.
Yeah.
They were just the standard GFs throughout the whole game.
There's one that you need to, I think, read the magazine for, that if you have certain items in your inventory, you get Doom Train, the GF.
Really?
You need to be in a certain place with certain items in your inventory, and then use a certain item, I think Solomon's Ring or something like that, and then he just turns up and he goes, Doom Train is now yours.
Wow.
Enjoy.
And that's what happens when you play a game that isn't meant for teenagers when you're 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just don't realise this sort of thing. You just don't think about.
And I think Dan, I think you missed the period of this where you kind of would have enjoyed it, because I think I showed it to you probably around 2005, I think.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah, and I think your reaction was, "What is this shit?"
Yeah, that's why I've not really said much. I'm really not a massive fan, to be honest.
I think part of it's a great game for me. It divided a lot of the Final Fantasy fans, but part of it's coated in nostalgia for me. So that's that's protecting it.
I haven't been back to play in a long time now.
It's still amazing. I still love it.
I imagine it is.
It's not difficult anymore though. That's the main problem.
Oh really?
That's a problem.
Yeah, because it was a challenge.
Yeah, but can't you just enjoy it if it's a nostalgia game?
I still love it as that. It's just I miss the challenge that I used to have. You know, when you rub that magical lamp and the headmaster doesn't say, "Oh yeah, by the way, the devil's in it."
Yeah, he didn't mention that. Why was he giving a magic lamp with the devil in it to a child?
I don't know, but he just, as a 9-year-old, when a character goes, "Don't forget to save before using it," I'm going,
you don't need to save.
I'm not going to save. I'm 9. I'm fine. And opening it, and then Diablo comes out and
he does
annihilates you.
Incredibly. I don't think I ever beat him.
But I think it was also the start of the downfall of the bosses, I think, because Cypher or Cipher or whatever his name is, he just kept on turning up, and you meant to feel menacing. But it's like,
nope.
I think him and then Seymour from Final Fantasy X.
Seymour was possibly the most annoying boss I've ever
You couldn't
faced.
possibly beat me, even though you defeated me in all the other incarnations of me.
It's the worst one was Metal Seymour at the
The
what
bridge.
was the sports game called? The
Blitzball.
the Blitzball game. He turns up at the Blitzball tournament.
Does he?
In like you kill him once and he comes back as like Metal Seymour.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And that was not fun.
So yeah, that's my number 2 game, and that was your number one game.
Yeah, so you just ruined my list. Thank you.
That's quite alright. That's what I mean. I'm going to hopefully sabotage Dan's at some point. I'll do something. And right, moving on to my
top game of all time.
This is probably one that I spoke about even more than Final Fantasy when I started playing it, and it's Dark Souls. And I introduced you to this. This is the only game that I've owned 2 copies of. One that I can lend to other people.
And we've not lent it off you. Well, I haven't.
I have.
Then
I went and bought the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I sat with Dan for about 10 minutes as he played it, and he died and did not enjoy it.
Because there's something about Dan you should probably know. He is a girly man.
Indeed. There you go, man. And I said I lent it to Jake, and you went out and bought it.
Yes, almost straight away.
I remember your sense of achievement. Did you not almost wake people up in your street by screaming?
Yeah, there's a boss in it called the Capra Demon.
Oh yeah.
I was stuck on the boss for about a week.
I remember you kept on sending me texts. So how do I do this? And it's like, right, when you go in, go to the left, go up the stairs, and kill the dogs first. It's like, wait, what stairs?
I just couldn't do it. I was awake at like 3 a.m. I thought I'd give it a go, and I did it. And my girlfriend at the time was woken up. I'm pretty sure the neighbours were woken up. Pretty much anybody that was in a maybe half a mile radius was woken up to the sound of me going, "Ah!"
But then that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it, because the game that's so frustrating to play that makes you do that when you actually just get it right. I understand the sense of
such a sense of achievement.
Yeah, I understand the sense of achievement. But
there was a point that where I thought I was never going to win this game.
Don't think you ever won this game, did you?
I'm not sure. See, I'm not sure.
I don't think you ever completed that game.
I don't think I did.
But that was it's definitely one of those games where it's like a vortex that you can just fall into it for hours. I remember spending about 5 hours on the Undead Berg or something like that, and then when I played through the game again, it took me about 20 minutes because the first time you play through, it's such a steep learning curve, and I hadn't played the precursor Demon Souls, and I didn't know how the game worked really. And the first 5 hours was me learning the patterns of the enemies and being able to do that. And when I went through again, I realised how easy it is once you understand the systems of the game and understand that the game is fair. It just punishes you
if you're stupid.
If you make a mistake, you can't blame the game.
But also, when you were telling me about it before, it basically just sounds like trial and error. As in, you go through somewhere, die, right, well, I'll go through that again and not do this.
Yeah.
But then, to me, when you die, it's kind of like you've not failed, obviously, but that you've not played the game well enough.
Yeah.
But if you kind of have to die to actually find out how to play the game, that's one of the reasons I don't like it.
That's part of it. But when I went into Dark Souls 2, a little bit of the magic was lost for me because I kind of knew what to expect, and there was a lot of the same enemy designs, so I knew their attack patterns and things like that. Obviously, it was still difficult, but a lot of it was the frustration of dying, which kept me going through the first Dark Souls game. That's what made me love it so much. That's why I'm going to remember every single frame of that game. I know that game inside and out.
Yeah, that's pretty good reason to have it as your number one game of all time.
Nothing quite beats the adrenaline that's pumping through you when you see someone's invaded your game, because that's the loose term of multiplayer in that game.
That was horrific for me.
When someone goes in there and you're kind of backed up against the wall trying to find out where this guy's coming from, then you end up having like a 10-minute battle with this guy. He kills you and then he bows as you fade away.
See, it wasn't a 10-minute battle for me. It was about 7 seconds. The guy just annihilated me. Absolutely annihilated me. It literally, it was over before I knew somebody else was in the game.
I had one that I walked into an area and I was just the right level that I got several people invade me. So I got 2 people invade me. I managed to kill one of them, almost kill the other one. Then another person invaded me, and I just thought, this is just never going to end. I was thinking, I've got things to do in this game, not real life things that actually need doing, but I need to do things in this game.
Yeah, because you don't have
way.
real life responsibilities.
No, absolutely not.
Especially not when playing.
Not when Dark Souls. I've clocked over 200 hours on the first game.
Really?
Yes. Because it tells you exactly how many hours you've done, and I think I did more than 200.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it might be because there's no pause button, and I occasionally killed all the enemies in the area, then hid in a corner and went off to have lunch or something. So that might be some of my time.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count at all.
So that's my number 1. Yeah. So just recap quickly: The Last of Us in number 3, Final Fantasy VIII. Sorry, Jake, and Dark Souls as my number 1.
Any honourable mentions?
Honourable mentions.
Just to ruin Dan's list.
No, I'll leave Dan's list intact.
I thought we were going to just do honourable mentions right at the end, I think.
I'll do a quick one just now. I won't ruin Dan's one because I actually like Dan.
Wow.
I will say I played a game a short while ago called Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and I think it's the only game that I'm not ashamed to say this, I actually teared up at that game.
Oh.
It's only about 2 hours. It's only about 2 hours long, but it hit me hard.
An Xbox arcade game?
Xbox arcade game. If you get a chance to play it because it doesn't take up much of your time, and it's an experience.
Huh.
So that was my top 3. Join us in the next video for Jake's top 3.
Jake's indeed.
Thank you very much for listening.